So the idea was to live on some of that house money, but just basically so we didn't have to work as much for a little while, like almost take a little mini break. But that being said in mind, we have a couple of e-commerce, or at that stage had a couple of e-commerce brands up and running that I built during COVID with Chad. Oh, Tessa, you have no idea. Honestly, I can just get on my little motorbike, zip down, and I'm like doing the groceries. So like a really mundane thing. And the joy and happiness I have in going and getting the groceries, which used to be my most hated job, is just so lovely. Anything you want to do, you can do. You just kind of have to be crazy enough to give it a go and jump in and try. When I was little, particularly, Mum and Dad packed us up and into the caravan, and we did a big lap of Australia, which kind of probably sparked the joy and the, curiosity for getting out there and traveling with kids as well. So yeah, I think, being able to work online and showing them that they don't have to go to a 9-to-5, being able to live anywhere and still create an income, and just being a human of the world is kind of like super important. And I really hope that that's the key takeaway, the adventure and just being a kind human being.
Welcome to Dreams Unleashed, the podcast where we unfasten the seatbelts on everything that holds you back from making your dreams come true and living your best life. We are Tessa and Laurens, and you can find us as Atypical on your social media platforms. We want to get the most of ourselves out of our relationships and our parenting, and we want to inspire others to do the same. As you might know, we are currently building a villa on Bali, and in the process we got in touch with Chad&Mia, an Australian couple that moved to Bali last year with their 4 children. They are a big inspiration to us because they're having 4 children and they did not keep them back from building the life that they want. They are some steps ahead in the process of moving to Bali, and we want to learn all about their adventures. And today we're going to dive deep in how they made this happen. And today we're with Mia. Welcome.
Hello. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we're so happy that you wanted to join. Because we have many questions about like how you got to where you are at the moment. Yes. I think you moved to Bali around a year ago, and that's when
we moved.
You started
Christmas
sharing.
Day last year. Christmas Day. It was like crazy and fun and exciting. It was all the things wrapped up into one. So it was really cool.
I can imagine, but I want to go back a little bit before that moment because you have 4 kids.
Yes.
And the oldest is 18 years, is that
18, yes. 18, 14, 9 and 7. Nearly 8. I have to throw that in there. Nearly 8. Yeah. So they're quite well spread except for the last one.
Yeah. I when I keep following you, I'm like, we wanted to have a big family when we just started, and now I'm like way into my second pregnancy. And I'm like, having so much respect for having 4 kids, because your body, oh my god, it takes a lot of toll.
It's a journey.
Yeah. but seeing the adventures that you have with them is just it didn't hold you back, because you are with Chad now for how long?
So Chad and I met in high school. His best friend and my best friend were brother and sister. And that's kind of how we met, in a similar friend group. And so started dating when I was in my final year of high school, so year 12. And we have been inseparable best friends ever since. So, yeah.
I love to see your dynamics.
Yeah.
So how old were you when you got your oldest boy?
So I was 20 when we first fell pregnant. And yes, like just turned 20. So I was quite young. And we got married a little bit after our firstborn came to the party. And so we've been together we've been together longer than we've been apart. So nearly 20 years, or just over 20. Oh God, I'd have to do the math. What's 2003? Yeah, just over 20 years.
Yeah, quite over it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So you had your first kid then, and what were your lives like before having kids?
Before kids?
Yeah.
Well, I guess we were pretty young and silly. We both worked a lot. We both did this, stock standard, left school, got jobs. We did travel around and change locations and leave our initial friend groups behind and move to different spots and things. So we've always been quite open to change, and especially together, I feel like we can conquer anything. So before the kids came along, that kind of happened. Then once the kids came along, we settled here and there in sort of yearly lots with families, and we always did big moves. So we would always pick up the kids and move halfway across the country, or we did that a few times actually, in between buying houses and renovating and all that sort of thing. And just always have been open to change.
So never being at one place, staying there for a long time, or doing a job for a long time?
Oh, we still have kept our, like Chad worked in banking for many, many years, and sort of had, obviously the job changed over the years, but still was with the same bank for many years. And I was with one bank as well for many, many years. And then obviously having children, went part-time, full-time, all those sorts of things in between. But no, the longest sort of stint of time we've done in one place is around 5 to 6 years. And always kept it moving, always kept it changing. Yes, very different.
Is this something that you were brought up with? Is this something that your parents did with you too?
Maybe a little, but not a lot. We definitely had relatives that were in the same house for the 30 years and that sort of thing. But we did do a couple of big moves when I was little, and we also, when I was little particularly, Mum and Dad packed us up and into the caravan, and we did a big lap of Australia, which kind of probably sparked the joy and the curiosity for getting out there and traveling with kids as well.
So you were really familiar with that a little bit. It's not that it was really,
it wasn't a crazy concept. And I mean, they did that when my brother was born very preemie, and I think he was only maybe like 4 or 5 months old, and we all just took off in the caravan and went. So I guess that craziness probably does come from somewhere genetically, and Chad's just kind of joined in on the crazy ride. He's signed up for it. So I think I'm kind of the one that throws the silly ideas out there, and then he's kind of the backbone that makes them all fall into place and happen with ease. So
that's great.
It works quite well. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a match. You don't keep each other down, or you don't have one that is too scared to make these big steps. So you motivate each other. That's nice. I can really see that on your social page, like on your reels and everything that you do together. The chemistry between you two is really watching Friends and
thank you.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's really great.
Yeah, it was definitely my best mate. So he's stuck with me.
Yeah. Is there any other family around at Bali at the moment? I mean, moving with you?
No.
So just your family?
So we kind of, we're here on our own, just doing it on our own. Parents, both sets of parents, have come over and popped over for a visit, which has been really nice.
Just holidays,
Yeah, just a quick little, couple of days or a week here and there. But no, we're on our own, just kind of making our own little community and just having a crack at it, really. Like, it's not a weird concept. When our last daughter was born, 10 days later, we literally moved from the very south of Australia all the way up to the north of Queensland, and just kind of piled all the kids in the car and took off and moved. So the idea of kind of selling everything, and at that stage, before we moved to Bali, we had a caravan, selling the car and all the last bits, and really going, it's not as crazy as it seems, although it probably sounds absolutely ludicrous.
Yeah, it does sound. It does sound like leaving like everything
Yeah.
behind and going full like
Full in.
100%,
Yeah.
like not a little
Trusting
bit.
the universe.
Yeah.
Just go straight in. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, okay. So, fast forward a little bit. You have your 4 kids and
Yes.
you have a house that you just said that you sold. So you were actually house owners in Australia.
Yep.
Okay, and take us with you. Like, how did things happen from being house owners to moving to Bali?
Okay. So we had the house. We were fully set on a caravan and a lap of Australia. So we sold the house with that in mind, bought the caravan. We already had a 4-wheel drive ready to go, so that was fine. And moved into the caravan, and we were sort of just started 2 or 3 weeks on our little journey. And it was Chad's 40th birthday in August. So we had booked a month in Bali last year to come and be here for his 40th. So we did that, and it was brilliant. And while we were here, we were working because we had everything planned to keep working in the caravan as we were moving around. And we decided that if we could keep working in Bali, why did we need to go back and work in Australia in the caravan? And we kind of ummed and ahed and weren't sure. And by the time we made it back home again, we really didn't want to leave Bali. And we kind of, the thought of, cleaning the caravan and emptying poo containers and all that sort of like, being crammed in a space. It was like, oh, no way. I'd rather
With
be
the
sitting
6
in the
of you.
ocean. Yeah. Well, at that stage, our eldest had his own little van.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So he was in a camper van on his own. But yes, it was just kind of like this thought process of like, do we have to? So we went back at the end of August, at the end of our trip, and put the caravan up for sale and sold the caravan, sold the car, and got rid of the last of the little tiddly bits because we had already downsized so much from the house to the caravan. And just kind of went all in and found ourselves a property here and signed a 12-month lease and went, okay, cool,
wow.
we're set. Yeah.
Because was it the first time that you guys were in Bali, or did you go visit before many times?
No, we've been to Bali many, many times over the years.
Yeah, because it's close to you.
Yeah, it is, yeah. We're very lucky with that. But I've probably been to Bali maybe 15 times since I was
Yeah, so you're
about
familiar.
15. Yeah.
It's not like just, we were there for a week and we loved it. So
No, very familiar. In Australian public schools, it's very common for kids to learn Bahasa Indonesia as their sort of language learning. So, very familiar with all of that all the way through school and everything like that. So, it was almost like second home, really.
We can't imagine like having like Indonesian in the Dutch schools here.
Yeah.
For us, it's French and German. Yeah.
Well, it makes sense geographically.
Yeah.
For us, Indonesian makes sense geographically. So it's very different.
Okay, I have 2 questions popping up.
Yeah.
Before we go onward, because you said you made sure that you were able to keep working. Because so that meant that you were not like just living on the money that came from your house that you sold. What were your incomes, and how did you manage to keep that ball rolling?
Yeah, sure. So the idea was to live on some of that house money, just basically so we didn't have to work as much for a little while, like almost take a little mini break. But that being said in mind, we have a couple of e-commerce, or at that stage had a couple of e-commerce brands up and running that I built during COVID with Chad. And so that was sort of all working away in the background. And then we also have a digital agency that has 2 arms. One is Chad's side, which does app builds and website builds and app security, and then my side is the social media side of things. So we had that going all in the wings whilst we were getting everything ready to sell the house and go, and then also obviously maintaining when we did sell the caravan and really go with suitcases and plane tickets.
Yeah, so there are several online incomes that were happening.
Yes.
So because now your social media is made like a lot of focus on Bali.
Yeah. So sorry.
Yeah. So how did that? Because there was something else before, I can imagine.
Yeah. So during COVID, when we were building the e-commerce businesses, they had quite strong social media presence and everything like that, especially on TikTok. So that was great. That sort of, again, at that stage with the growth of TikTok, we were able to market organically and not actually have to pay for any marketing, which is just insane.
Yeah.
So those businesses got off the ground, up and running, and went worldwide, which was awesome, from our little house in Australia. And then, now predominantly our social media, obviously I've still got one business going, one I've sold. And now our social media for us personally is focused around Bali and family activities in Bali and how families can enjoy Bali and all the weird and wonderful things that we find that we want to share as well. So, and just helping people enjoy the island.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's so many tips, and I've been sharing a lot with my friends that are just, because I have a lot of people asking like, what should I do with my kids, or where should I go to? And I'm like, I'm here. I don't have the content, and like I know some places, so just check out Chad&Mia.
Thank you.
Yeah, we sent them a lot of tips through you. Thank you for that too.
That's okay. We try and be as helpful as we can, because it is kind of daunting, especially if you haven't been here before and you don't know. So it is
and especially
very
your
different
family.
culture.
Yeah.
Very different.
And you have like quite some age ranges, so that's
we can kind of cater to the masses with the children's age ranges, so it does work quite well.
You can use it to your
to the advantage.
Yeah, exactly. So, but your kids, like if we were in the Netherlands, the first question would be, okay, so you have a 7-year-old, that's the youngest, but that's still like a school-going age, right?
Yeah.
You have traveled and you've been in your camper van, and now you moved to Bali. What's happening with school?
With school, yeah. So our eldest 18-year-old, he's finished. So he's done and dusted. He is taking a gap year and just loving and living his life. I'm so jealous. And then the younger 3 are doing homeschool at the moment. So we've found a great homeschooling program that actually runs in line with Queensland, the state that we're from, their curriculum. So we're able to keep up with the kids' schooling and everything just the same as if they were in the classroom like normal. And then given that it's all in line with the Queensland curriculum, if we were to go back, the kids would just simply slot back into school like normal. But for now, we're having heaps of fun doing homeschool. So, I mean, that does take up a big part of my day and everything like that. So it does become part of our Bali content and Bali sharing, because schooling is a huge question that we get asked, especially about
Were they up to it from the beginning too? Like up for it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So obviously they were super sad, and so were the teachers and everything, to say goodbye and go. But at that stage we were going into a caravan, so it's okay, we're coming back, we'll be back. And then it's like,
Change your plans.
But yeah, so it's been really good actually. And we've noticed that there's been a couple of little friends from the kids' school that have actually come across for holidays that we have either A, run into by absolute complete chance, or B, they've reached out and we're able to catch up with them. So the kids are still meeting up with their old mates as well, which is lovely. But homeschooling has definitely changed up how we can run our family on a day-to-day basis and still fit in some really cool and fun stuff as well, without having that sort of restriction of drop the kids off, they're at school, pick them up, and we can do some really cool stuff.
Yeah, how does it look like? Like, what does it look like on a daily basis?
So majority of the time, especially with the 2 littlest ones, we can get their school done over a 2 to 3 day period, normally around 3 to 4 hours a day. Obviously, on the other non-school days, we're still doing learning, still doing things, but that's just the curriculum-based
like life
stuff.
Schooling. Yeah.
And then the 14-year-old who's in year 8 at school, so high school, he actually manages his own schedule really, really well and chooses to do around 3 to 4 lessons a day. And he does that every day. So he's hoping he'll actually be done with school in the next sort of month or so for the year. and that's him finished. So it works really well for our family. We're able to navigate, and we can chat about different things that we've got coming up that we need to fit in, or a different little quick getaway. So we might need to shuffle school back this week, or we need to get a bigger day done so that we can run away to the mountains at the end of the week, or whatever it might be. So it does work really, really well for us.
So are you still registered in Australia, or?
Yes, so we are part of the homeschooling curriculum and that plan that we follow. You can choose to stay registered, and we are, for the reason that we may end up back, and we obviously want to slot the kids back in if that happens. But you can also do it without being registered as well.
So are you being checked up upon with the schooling?
Yes, absolutely. So I've just been through my first with my eldest. He's eldest schoolboy. He's been schooling the longest. He actually had started 6 months before the younger kids. So we've just completed our first 12-month reporting check-in thing. And I have a newfound appreciation for teachers, because that is just huge to go through all that reporting and everything. But it's also really good too, because it shows us where he's at as well, and we're able to evaluate the different changes and things and things that we had been working on throughout the year that he definitely has improved in, and that sort of thing. So it was a really eye-opening experience to do that reporting, but it was really cool as well.
Yeah, you have to also report your own kid, and that's also a sort of reflection on how you are doing as a parent.
Yeah, it's scary. Yeah, it's like, oh, God. Please tell me you know your times tables. Come on.
Oh, that phase is far ahead of us, because our oldest is only 2 years old now. So. But time flies, so we'll be there before we know.
You'll blink and it'll be happening.
And is that something, so you're still paying for schooling in the Australian
so we do pay to have access to that. It's actually quite minimal compared to private schools or anything like that. So we could either choose to pay by term, or we could choose to pay for the whole year to have access to that course curriculum. Because the other alternative here in Bali is international schools, and they are ridiculously expensive, and I cannot justify the spend on that, especially times 3 children. So we also find too, it's just really restrictive to what we want to do in our day. We really want to get school done and go to the beach, to be completely honest. And by having a normal regular school day, we can't do that. So it just suits us and what we're doing right now.
Yeah, I can imagine you really have to find your way in the schooling and your daily life. And I don't think you are the family next door with with how you travel and how you raise your children. Yeah. Are there any specific things or topics that you want to add into their lives, or that you feel like that's missing from the school curriculum that you are offering your children?
That's a really good question. Probably not. I mean, we're really lucky that we get to spend the time with our kids that we do, and that they're not going to a school. So we do get more of that one-on-one time, and just general life lessons of, being able to walk down the street and go to the shop and buy some milk and bread and all that sort of thing, that I think sometimes when you're both busy working parents, especially in Australia, the kids go to before school care, they go to after school care, and then you pick them up and you get a weekend with them, and that's basically it. So I think I don't think there's anything lacking from their education. I think if anything, they've probably gained a lot more self-awareness, self-confidence. They have a greater understanding of kindness and appreciation of different cultures and things that they just wouldn't get exposed to in the normal Aussie life. So I don't think there's anything lacking. I think if anything, they've gained a lot more, and I really, really, my only wish and hope is that they look back on this when maybe they've got kids or at whatever age and think, wow, I'm so glad that mum and dad were crazy. I'm so glad that they did something absolutely weird and wonderful, and that they can take away those lessons and just different appreciations and pausing for different cultures and different people and different feelings. And is that something that you
like consciously choose to live this life so that they would experience this, or is this just like an extra bonus?
Well, I think probably from that point of view, it's probably adventure, maybe not depending on location awareness of wherever it might be, but just more that adventure piece of like anything you want to do, you can do. You just kind of have to be crazy enough to give it a go and jump in and try. So yeah, I think, you know, being able to work online and showing them that they don't have to go to a 9 to 5, being able to live anywhere and still create an income, and just being a human of the world is kind of like super important. And I really hope that that's the key takeaway, the adventure and just being a kind human being.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think you are like great examples already.
Oh, thank you.
By just showing them. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Just going back to, because you now have to provide for 3 children, it's not like you're traveling with small kids. You have to feed full-grown bellies.
Yeah.
So it's I can imagine it's not the cheapest to be with like so many people, and you two are just the providing, and you are doing this with the e-commerce. Is it something that you are making enough, or like what's the income and what are the costs like living there now?
So obviously our cost is greatly reduced compared to Australia in a big way, especially for sort of day-to-day living pieces. I was just talking to my friend about this the other day. I really believe that electricity and water are very much nearly on par with Australian prices. However, access to fresh fruit and veggies, food, grocery shops, that sort of thing is, again, greatly reduced. So it kind of makes up for it. And obviously you don't have to live in a super fancy pants house. You can choose to lessen your accommodation costs and everything like that as well. So
where are you based now? Like location-wise?
We're based in Sanua. So it's on the east side of the island. And we don't get the sunsets, but we get the sunrises. So it's actually quite nice.
You get swimmable beaches.
We do. Yeah, we have a little reef out the front. So our beach is very low and slow. It's a lovely little floating beach. There's no waves or surfing beach. But no, it's beautiful. So I think that the cost of living is very different. We are very lucky in the sense that we are creating enough income that we're okay, we're fine to keep on doing that. But then you run up against things like paying for your rent 12 months in advance.
Ahead,
Yeah, which is a huge cost to outlay. And, you know, once you see that leave your bank account, you only hope that good things can come from that and it doesn't go astray or anything like that. So there is a huge piece here in Bali of trust, and I think that's really nice as well. A lot of people just work happily on trust. You know, you might forget to pay. Like today, the laundry man dropped off our sheets and just ran away really quick. And I was like, oh, the money. And he's like, it's fine. I'll be back.
See you another time.
It's fine. Yeah. No dramas.
Yeah.
It's tirak apa, which is no worries. It's really sweet. So I think for Australian families anyway, cost of living is very much greatly reduced here. And it gives us the freedom then to go and do fun things and to go and have experiences and to go and stay in different places and things that we probably couldn't do because we'd be too busy doing our 9 to 5 and paying for the mortgage and paying for the rates and paying for the electricity and the water and the school fees and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, because how long are you working now? What do your working days look like?
So Chad works a couple of days a week, and sometimes that might be spread out over the 5 days, just, you know, a few hours here and there. But predominantly, if you were to smush it all together, it's probably 2 to 3 days a week. Sometimes those weeks can be really big, and sometimes they can be really small. It just depends on the builds and things that he's got going on. Yeah. As for me, I tend to work a couple of hours each night, and it depends on how many clients I've got on the books. I also have another staff member as well. So does Chad on his side. So depending if they've got time.
Is it Indonesian or someone online?
No. We have some freelancers working for us from Australia. Okay. So, yeah, it just depends on what's happening and that sort of thing.
Where
but
you
we
need
can
help,
normally manage it. Yeah. So my kind of side of the business is run after the kids go to bed. Obviously, our own personal social media gets filmed and done sort of in the day. And
that's you.
Normally with them. Yeah, that's me. But then for the other businesses that we help manage, that gets done overnight time. And then, Chad's side is probably a bit more full on, which, I mean, it's on my business. I just choose not to take on that much work, to be honest, not with the homeschooling and everything else. I just can't fit it in.
So it fits the Bali lifestyle, right? Just work what you need.
What you need.
And
you just take what you need, use what you need, and leave the rest for someone else. It's very fruitful.
Yeah, and it's all based on e-commerce, or are there, because you sold your house, you're not renting any. Is there other income, or maybe I don't know if you are in crypto or anything else?
I don't do crypto. I tried. I lost a little bit. I just don't understand crypto. It kind of like doesn't fit in my brain space. But no, so we no crypto. We just have we now only have one e-commerce brand. We've sold one just a little while ago, and then we have the digital agency as well. So that's kind of us in a nutshell. Super simple.
Yeah. And with selling businesses, that's like more than just like a monthly income. That's something that creates a buffer for several months ahead. Or maybe years. Yeah.
Hopefully, but yes.
So do you consider your life as a dream life at the moment? Or
yes.
are there things that would be different? Yeah.
Oh, Tessa, you have no idea. Honestly, I can just get on my little motorbike, zip down, and I'm like doing the groceries. So like a really mundane thing. And the joy and happiness I have in going and getting the groceries, which used to be my most hated job, is just so lovely. And the smiles and the happiness and the people that say hello and everything, like it's so joyous here. And we've found that with all of our kids as well, and even Chad and myself. It's just a really slow, joyous, thankful life.
It's just out of the rat race.
Yeah, and this has been the best year of my life so far ever, full stop. And
wow.
I just think I am so grateful and so lucky and so happy to be doing what I'm doing right now. It's insane. Like the joy is insane.
Wow. Like a goosebumps. In the Netherlands, we call it chicken skin, but like if
yes, I know. Really yeah, chicken skin. I would know what that was.
Yeah. No, like because we obviously are also building our house in Uluwatu, and in the first place, it's only for investment purposes, but the investment purposes and the money that it's going to give us is going to be able to build our own place there in Bali. And I've been there so many times, so I totally feel the joyous life, and I can't wait to be there with our 2 kids too. And
it's so exciting. That's so cool.
Yeah. What I wanted to ask is, there's something really like inspirational that the both of you did.
Yeah. Okay. Hit me with it.
Because I mean, like if you like summarize the life that you built for yourselves, like the switch that you made from like normal 9-to-5 jobs to moving online, still having 4 kids and still switching things up, moving around, and like not being in one place, and like being guided by your, like, I don't know, following intuitively, like, where do I want to go, what makes me happy, to being at this point where you can just like fully say, I'm living my best life. And there was also a point that I saw that, because you just did like a before video a while ago about that you lost 50 kilograms.
Yeah.
And I mean,
that was probably the catalyst to the craziness, to be completely fair, but yes.
Yeah, I can understand, because that is such a huge life decision, and also standing up for yourself, and like the motivation that you need to do that.
Yeah.
Like,
dive into that?
Tell me more about the catalyst.
Okay, so I obviously have struggled with my weight my whole life. It's, obviously having 4 children comes on, goes off, all that sort of thing. So weight's hard. Food for me is hard. We've figured out now that I actually have ADHD. So it's obvious food is obviously a dopamine hit for me. So
and there's enough of it at Bali.
Oh my God, yes. But the lucky thing now is that I decided to have bariatric surgery, which was probably right up there with one of the best things I could have ever done for myself, in the sense that I was really mentally on board and really mentally ready to move forward with my life. And yes, lost 50 kilos. I now have a tiny little tummy that can only fit little bits of Balinese food in, so that's a good thing. And I've really noticed in my own mental health that the actual physical weight loss has let a lot of the anxiety and everything go, to the point where I probably am in a great place to make crazy decisions like moving to Bali or selling your house and getting in a caravan.
Yeah, of course, because your confidence and everything just takes on. Yeah.
And there's not that actual mental weight there of like, is this possible, or can I physically do this, or am I going to struggle, or anything like that. So yeah, the weight loss for me was a huge moment. And of course, God love Chad. He's loved me at every size, that man. And he was just right on board with it all. And supported
he
me
lost
through
some
the whole
kilos
thing.
too, right?
Yeah, he did as well. So we actually, as part of it, decided to go sober because drinking was also a really hard thing that I struggled with. As well, just with the old dopamine hit. So we have been sober now for 3 years. And yes, he's lost a little bit of weight. I've obviously lost a chunk of weight. And yeah, it's a really different life that we live now as sober, happy people, and sort of, I guess, unhappy weight-free people. I don't know how to word that the right way.
Yeah, and it's nice that you were able to do that together and be like each other's backbone, probably.
Yeah.
In the process.
Definitely. No,
yeah.
It was very, 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 it was a huge process to go through. And there's lots of different laws and things that you have to do, different checks in Australia to even sort of be eligible to do it.
Yeah.
And I was very happy that I could do that, and that it worked in the sense that I was really on board and could make it work for me and our family. Yeah. Yeah,
and your kids obviously saw the huge makeover happening in front of them too. So it's also. And you could do like shopping afterwards.
I did. I kind of fell off really quick in the beginning, and I got all excited thinking, oh, yay. So I bought some new clothes, and then it kept falling off. I'm thinking, oh, God, I'll just wait now until I'm ready. But yes.
Yeah.
So I've maintained my weight now. I've gone from like a person that used to get on the scales every morning to I don't even own any scales anymore. I don't even care. I'm just really happy living in my own skin, which is something that I've never throughout my whole life ever been able to say. So it's a very different soul happiness that I feel every day now.
Yeah, also a huge part, I think, of being able to say I'm living my dream life. Because maybe if you were doing the same, but in the former body that you had, that it wouldn't be the same.
Yeah,
No.
we'd probably still be exactly in the old house. We'd still be doing the same old thing. The kids would be in the same schools. It wouldn't have changed. There wouldn't have been a catalyst of change.
I haven't set foot on the scale since I got pregnant. And I remember last time I was pregnant, I was like there every Wednesday morning, just like making notes, like how much I'm gaining. I have no idea now.
Yeah, baby number 2.
It just doesn't matter. Yeah.
Wait for baby number 3 or baby number 4, and then you're like, whatever.
No, I think we're done now. I think I'm saying that at the moment because I am 31. I just turned 31, and like having my second baby, and I have one of my best friends, and she had her last baby when she was 40, and she was like, you can say it's your last one now, but maybe in 4 or 5 years, because you're still young enough.
Yeah.
But we're just living these intense years, with the toddler and
it's full
the
on.
tantrums and it's so challenging to keep going and moving forward in all the things that we're building, because we're also building an online life for ourselves too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, how long did it take for you?
And you still have to prioritize you.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Definitely. I said, how long did it take for you to start your first online business? Your success. How did you get successful, and how long did it take?
I was before COVID. I was teaching yoga, which was awesome. Loved it. And when COVID hit, obviously I couldn't do any more classes. Couldn't do anything like that. And one of the problems that I was having in my yoga classes is that people would come up to me at the end and they'd say, "Oh my gosh, thank you so much. How can I follow you on social media?" And I had a really long handle and it was really frustrating. And nobody ever remembered what it was or anything like that at the end. So lesson learnt. But we kind of came up with an idea of how we could solve that problem with a digital business card so that I could tap my information into somebody else's phone. And that worked really well. So whilst we were all shut down, I just kind of said to Chad, "Look, this is the crazy idea that I have. Do you think we could make that happen?" And he's the tech guy. So he went, "Yep, cool, run with it." Ta-da, built it. And when the intention was fully that when COVID had lifted and we could all go back to teaching again, that I would just have this little thing that I had made and I could zap my details across to anyone while I was, after class or during class, whatever. And put it on TikTok and it just went bananas. So we ended up, there was no going back to yoga at all. So in a sense was kind of nice because my yoga practice then became my own again. I wasn't having to practice to teach.
I fully recognize that.
Yeah. And then after that, we just kind of ran with it. And whilst we learnt and built that first business, I always kind of had another secondary crazy idea. And Chad kind of said, well, it's kind of similar. We can build that one as well. And so we ended up building some what's called safe bands, and it's just basically a wearable QR code that if a child is out and about and gets lost, their QR code can be scanned and information can be passed on, or mum and dad can be called, or whoever's listed, and any sort of important information about the wearer can be there and shared easily. And so we again learnt our lesson from the first business, jumped on TikTok as we started to build that one. And within the first 2 weeks before we had launched, we'd built a massive email list ready to go. So by the time that one was ready to be out in public, it hit the ground running and went, again, we had to figure out international shipping and all that sort of thing, within, a day. Yeah, so it went bananas. And so that was how kind of the introduction to, oh my goodness, if you put a product online and you can market it quite well, people will actually pay you for that and you can send that to them and they're happy as well and you're happy. So it just kind of, so it's like this little light bulb went off, and that's how our introduction into online e-commerce started. From there, and it just kind of grew and grew and grew, and then we started helping other businesses figure that out and how they could do it, and it's just gone from there.
It's really the scaling path that you because first you have to experience, and then from life experience, and then it's your experience, and then you can make it other people's life experience. Absolutely. That's great. And how many years was that? So you started COVID period?
Yes, we started right as COVID closed. We built that business. We sort of built it in about 2.5 months, that first business, and got it up and running. And then it was out in the world. And then I think it was about 6 or 8 months later, we started that second business. And again, COVID was still happening. We were still locked down. We were still doing school online at that point and everything. So it just kind of grew and grew and grew really exponentially with the help of TikTok.
And I love to hear that you guys are really doing this together. So you're not just in a relationship, but you're also business partners, and you're
Life wouldn't function without Chad. Like he
It's
is
just like two halves.
Yeah. He's my brain because I think so differently and so quickly and you know get distracted so easily.
Yeah,
he's
but
the one
you
that's
also
able
follow up
to
on the great ideas.
Yeah, but he's the one that's able to kind of steer the ship. Like he'll hear the great idea, unpack it a little bit more, or get me to slow down for a minute to explain, and then he'll drive the ship, which is really good. So, and he's also, again, we're both really great at listening to one another and hearing and supporting and that sort of thing. So it does work very much hand in hand.
Yeah, you've known each other for a few decades now. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like, I think that's something that has to grow too. You don't start from being great communicators. You have to grow into that and work for it.
And I think the parenting thing really helped that. Like we definitely did that so well together for, you know, the first sort of 15, 16 years together before we even started the e-commerce side of things.
Yeah, but running a family is almost equal to running a business, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, God, the management
so much
involved.
Management, yeah. So much management.
Yeah, definitely.
Team meetings,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so where do you see yourselves in like maybe 5 years? Do you have a plan?
It's probably the first time in my life that I do not have a set plan. And
That's a great plan, right?
And I really feel okay with it. And it's probably something that normally, you know, 3 years ago, 50 kilos ago, Mia would have been really, really uncomfortable with. But yeah, to be honest, I don't know and I don't mind. I am really open. I'm really open if we end up here in 5 years. I'm really open if we end up back in Australia in 5 years.
It means you're happy, right? Actually.
Yeah, I'm just cruising. Yeah. I'm so fluid right now, and it's really, really, really nice space to be in. So, yeah, I really don't mind. It's really hard to give you an answer, sorry, because I just literally do not have one.
No, but it's a great answer. I think it means a lot to be able to say that you don't have a plan, because if, you know, it means you're really living in the moment.
Yeah, and I think
and you're happy with the moment.
Yeah, but in saying that though, like in having children, I feel like you almost need to have things planned out, and you would need to at least have a rough idea. Like, okay, well maybe in 2 years I'm going to be here, maybe 5 years this. But it's
also nice, I think, to follow, because they're also their own individual people, with their own individual maybe dreams or wishes or things that they want to study, or just follow them.
And they're really cruisy as well. They've kind of developed this sense of, you know, just running with it, which is really nice as well. So yeah, we don't have an answer, and we don't even have a family plan of what that looks like at this point in time. So
I love how you make your videos with your daughter, like the narrating that she does that too. It's just so much fun. It just gives it so much more. Yeah, you're doing it together. She's also part of the business, I think, right?
Yeah, well, she's a little performer as well, and she absolutely loves it. I mean, one of our kids doesn't want anything to do with it, doesn't want to be in the videos, anything like that, and that's absolutely his choice, and we've completely respected that. But at any point in time, our kids have said, "Oh, Mum, please, can I, you know, be in the video? Can I, you know, help you do the voiceover or whatnot?" Of course I'm going to show them. It's actually another life skill, because let's face it, social media is not going anywhere.
Well, yeah, that's...
And if I can teach them how to be in a positive space, then that's definitely something that I want to be able to give to them as well.
Yeah, because like, how do you, because you live a lot online too, like you showcase a lot of your life. And I know my friends have kids around the same age, and they're really struggling with social media and how to like educate your kid on that topic. Mm-hmm. Is that something that you maybe
we definitely have a lot of dinner table chats and everything like that, but I think ultimately the biggest thing that's helped is removing our kids from school. So yes, our older ones do have social media and that sort of thing, and Snapchat and Instagram and all that sort of thing, but the removal of school has taken the
pressure
and the
peer
bullying
pressure,
and they're not on it. To be honest, they don't use it really anymore here. Yeah, they have it. They might peek in every now and then and see what a mate's doing, but that's about it really. And as far as the two littlest ones, Fox and Lola, they're all they know of social media is mum's videos. Like, you know, they might come across me. I think my daughter came running in the other day. She found herself on a YouTube video and got really excited because she was actually famous on YouTube, and it was like just playing as a YouTube video. But that's what she thought. And I was like, and then we had a really great chat about like how, you know, what social media is and all that sort of thing, and all the pros and cons of everything. So we went really deep into that for at least a 7-year-old. But yeah, I think it's really important to be super open and honest. And if they don't want to be a part of that they can be removed, and I don't need to put them in any videos or anything like that. So yeah, it's a very open discussion in our home. And, you know, maybe sometimes someone might want to be in something and not want to do something the next day. And we've got to respect that as well.
You can change your mind. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and they're also at the age where they can like consciously say and make their own decisions about that. Yeah. That's why we don't put our children on social media, because we feel like we want them to
make that decision.
To make that decision for themselves. Because it's so, you know, you love them the most. Like, you want to showcase them. You want to show them to the whole. Yeah.
It's hard, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Oh my God, so many takeaways that we have from this episode, and inspiring topics. And yeah, thank you for sharing.
Most welcome. Thank you for letting me guest on.
I can't wait to meet you when we're in Bali.
Yes, absolutely. That'll be so cool.
Okay, I have one last question.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, okay, I have it usually in Dutch, so I have to like think.
No,
I'm
you're
gonna
right.
ask this in English. Is there something that you changed your mind about in the last couple of years, or in the years that you've changed your life?
That I've changed my mind about?
Yeah, like something that you maybe believe that you don't, or like...
That's a really great question. Probably a lot.
Yeah, probably. Something that you want to give away to the listeners.
Yeah, okay. Probably that you can. And I know that sounds like really kind of like Tony Robbins-y, woo, but it's just the fact that you can. And whatever your can looks like is completely different and completely okay. And that being open and doing things from a place of enough, that you have enough, for yourself and enough to share is more than enough, you know. Yeah, that's a really... I could go on for hours. I feel like Yoda from Star Wars.
We just did a course from Tony Robbins, so I can totally feel what you're saying.
Yeah. But it's that I've never actually done any of his stuff actually, but I've seen him online. But there's so much, you know. You are allowed to change. You're allowed to change your mind. You're allowed to change your physical body. Just live life. That's a really horrible answer. But there's so much there, yeah. I could go very deep very quickly for many hours, even without a glass of wine. So, yes, it's a very dangerous question.
Well, I think that our listeners and our followers would be happy to follow you too. So we're just going to share everything, all the places that they can find you in your platforms in the show notes below. And we just want to thank you for listening. And if you thought it was a nice episode, you know where you can find Chad&Mia and their families, and you can follow them. And if you like this episode, then please leave a review and follow our podcast.